if these fictional people can find love, and it's just as easy as sitting next to someone in a classroom. I've sat in a lot of classrooms in my life, so what did I do wrong? Hello, my name is Jayla and welcome back to another video, or to a new video if you're new here. Happy 2022, and I hope your year was full of amazing books like the ones I'm going to share with you in this video today. All of these were 5 stars. Sometimes 4-star books make it onto this list because it just depends on how rereadable they are for me. And this one, I think everyone is 5 stars because they were all just so good. If you have read any of these books, please make sure you comment down below, letting me know what your thoughts were on them. But without further ado, let's get into the best books I read in 2021. These are in no particular order because it's hard to really rank perfection, except for the last one. The last one is definitely my favorite of my favorite. I would not shut up about it. Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. Again, I have all the dust jackets off of these because I organize my shelves, so that's why you can't tell what these books are. So Pet is about this young girl named Jam who is grown up in this kind of utopian society where monsters are not here anymore, they've all been vanquished, evil no longer exists, and she believes this, and for the most part life is great until a monster appears in her home and tells her that her friend is in danger and she needs to help the monster basically get rid of this evil. And she doesn't know what he means because evil doesn't exist anymore, but then they go on this journey that shows that evil can hide in even the most obvious of places, to say the least. Not only is a black main character, it has trans rep, neurodivergent rep, the family, the parents are involved in the child's life, which is something that you really just don't get to see a lot in YA, and so I really loved how involved they are. They're not necessarily a part of the mission itself, but they are someone the child goes to for help and someone that she goes to for comfort, and I really liked that. It's a very tiny book that really packs a punch, and I just think that it was so well done in the few pages that it did have. Though I will say that going into it knowing what I did know, it ruined it a bit for me because, to put it vaguely, immediately I knew the entire story because I knew the trigger warnings. So I'm not gonna say more than that because I don't want to ruin it for you if you haven't read it yet, but I will say definitely if you need those trigger warnings, go into it with that. However, for me, I knew the story from the jump. Obviously, it was still 5 stars, so even knowing the twist, it really was still great to me. It's not going to hinder my experience that much. Everyone should read this. It's so short. If you haven't read it yet, take the time. A very recent read, one of my last ones of 2022, was Fangs by Sarah Anderson. This is just a really cute story. That's the only reason it's on this list. It's just super freaking cute. It's one of those books that, makes you think, God, I'm so single. So this is just a graphic novel about a vampire and a werewolf who are dating, and it's just very funny to see how they differ and where they bond and what really brings them together. And it was just really cute. I have nothing else to say about it except that it was adorable. It actually made me laugh a lot of times. This presentation in general was really cool. And I think that this is a little more mature than YA, I would say, but it was in the YA section for some reason. So it's not it's too steamy or anything, but I don't know. I just feel it's older, and I really like that as well. So yeah, this was just a surprising thing that I was I really want to read this because it looks cute, but I didn't think it would be one of my favorite books of this year, and it really just snuck in at the end there. Speaking of more books that make you hate yourself, okay, that's a bit dramatic. Speaking of more books that make you wish that you had found your soulmate, that would be Heartstopper, which I don't remember if I read volume 2 in 2020, but I read a good chunk of Heartstopper in 2021, and I recently read the 4th book, loved it just as much as the other 2. So good, so cute, so wholesome. I think it does a really good job of talking about things like eating disorders and mental illness and figuring out your sexuality. It gets more serious as you continue to read the story, which I really liked because while they are young boys and they should deserve to have a cute, wholesome first dating experience and not have to be bogged down with the pressures of society, I felt with the first one, while I adored it and I loved it, I was just okay, but I'm ready. I want this to be less surface level. And so it definitely becomes less surface level as you continue. Overall, just really cute. Really makes you think. If these fictional people can find love, and it's just as easy as sitting next to someone in a classroom. I've sat in a lot of classrooms in my life, so what did I do wrong? Another favorite of the year was The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. This is what to say about The Raven Boys. It was an experience. I read this during Reader Dare back in June, and I vlogged that experience. If you would like to go watch that vlog, I'll link it up in the cards. But yeah, I just had a really great time reading this book. It's got the found family trope. It's got this really fun, spunky main character named Blue who ends up befriending a bunch of boys who are trying to find a dead Fae king or something like that. And it's just a really quiet, kooky little story. It really warms your heart and you just fall in love with the characters immediately. For some reason I started The Dream Thieves and have not been able to finish it yet, so I don't know what's going on with that, but I do hope that this will start to be one of my favorite series that I've ever read, because the first book, like, I fell in love with it. I thought it was just so precious. I thought that it was really, really funny, and the adventure was really cool. There are a lot of characters, but they're also complex and unique, and you're invested in every page of their story, so I really, really enjoyed it. Hopefully I can get through The Dream Thieves, because I want to finish the series, and I kept saying, oh, this is going to be my new favorite series ever, but it's not turning out to be quite yet. But this is definitely one of my new favorite books. I read The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson, which I gave to a friend and so currently don't have in my possession, but she hasn't read it yet, and I gave it to her months ago, so we're gonna have to fight, but it's okay. I'm spreading the gospel, and the gospel is that The Space Between Worlds is a wonderful, beautiful book that you should all read. If you're into traveling to alternate universes and dystopian utopias and things like that, you should definitely read this book. Also, it has a sapphic romance as well, so that's always a plus to me. This book was smart, it was action-packed, it was super deep, very complex, and just explorative in a way that I wasn't expecting it to be. I'm really excited to read more of Micaiah Johnson's work, and I'm waiting for news, though admittedly I haven't been that active on her like page or anything, but I should go look and see if there's anything coming out soon, because I really want to read more of her sci-fi. I'm hoping that she has more in store. I feel like romance is kind of dominating this list a little bit, but I also have another favorite, Actor Age Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. I actually reread Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and Take a Hint, Annie Brown to read this, so these could all be in my favorites of 2021, but this was the new release of 2021, and it was the best one, I think. Maybe not. I haven't decided yet. I think this one might be my favorite. I found it to be so much fun. Eve is super relatable as a character. The banter between her and Jacob is so good, and this book is so sexy. Like, the other books are sexy too, but it's just so sexy. This one I don't feel like you really need to go on and on about. Everyone loves this book. I've never met anyone who hated this book, so naturally it should be on this list. And to break that cycle of lighthearted sweetness is The Troop by Nick Cutter. I read this. It was really messed up, like really messed up. I really, really liked it. It's unlike anything I had read before, although I had recently just read Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke, which also features some like tapeworm gore, and I just wasn't, it was just a weird coincidence that I had read that back to back. But this, yeah, is messed up. I don't know what else to say about it. I thought it was really smart. I thought that the characters were all really interesting. The build up, the inclusion of kind of like the, what do you call them? I don't know what they're called. There's like an evidence log for some things. There's certain like multimedia elements to this that I really liked. I read this mostly through audiobook, so I didn't even have this physical copy. I didn't know it even had like ads and stuff in it, so I feel like I should reread this with that knowledge so that I can see. But yeah, it does like an interview style for some things and then follows the like larger story. This was a disturbing book, and I like a book that grosses me out. I like a book that shocks me. I feel like not a lot of books can do that, and this did. So it's worth all the hype because I'm sure you've heard about it before, and I highly recommend it. And I'm going to read more Nick Cutter because the man knows what he's doing. And finally, to ring in people who know what they're doing, we have Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse, which was the book that I probably talked about the most this year, positively. I feel like I talked about From Blood and Ash a lot negatively, but this for sure was like the most positive book I talked about this year. This is literally, this book changed my life in more ways than one, because it's not only just a really good fantasy book, it literally is the reason I have the job I have today, which is kind of crazy. This time last year, reading this for the first time and being in a completely different place to being where I am now, and having it correlate to like one of my favorite books of the year is just really kooky. It's honestly just really weird to think about, and yeah, so not only was it a great book, it truly had an impact, which every good book should. This book pulls you in from the first page and does not let you go, in my opinion. Some people call it slow, some people said that some of the perspectives were boring, but I truly was never bored reading this. Every character had something really interesting going on, especially when they start to interact with each other, made it so much better. The way it all ties in is beautiful, and I think that my only issue with the pacing was simply that the end felt super explosive and abrupt, and like it just kind of ended, whereas it could have been like another 30 pages, I feel like. I just feel like that's what I feel. But I have started Fevered Star, and it picks up right where the other one left off, so I'm just like ready to keep going and see what's going on there. I cannot coherently talk about this book. I feel like I made a review about it that was not coherent in the least. To keep it short and simple, fast-paced, beautiful. It was thrilling, political intrigue. It had a romantic tension that tore me apart from the inside. I really loved the magic and the world building, the different cultures that all interact and intersect, betray each other, and work together. Like the alliances in this book were really cool. And that's all I have to say about that. It was such a good book, and to read it so early in the year ruined all other books for me. Except for one that I didn't end up finishing in 2021, but you'll hear about it very soon, so love this book. These are all the books that I loved in 2021. I mean, obviously I'm excluding some. There were definitely some bangers that are not included in this list, but these were all some 5-star reads that I will absolutely be returning back to time and again if I'm not feeling... Hopefully, by the time I return to Heartstopper and Fangs, though, something's changed. Something's gotta change, because I can't take it anymore. The rest of them, yeah, I really loved, and in any mood, I could read them. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, if you've read any of these, please comment down below and let me know your thoughts. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more from me, go watch my other videos and subscribe to my channel, because that's where you'll find more of my content. So it makes sense, you know? I'm done talking. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in another video. Have a good day. Bye!